breaking news on WFLA Now. Here's JB Buno.
New developments in the puzzling disappearance of a mother and daughter from St. Petersburg. Police now saying this morning the mom, 46-year-old Angela Jolly, here on the left side of your screen, has died in Nebraska of a reported medical episode suffered while with her daughter, who has told family that she is safe. Hey there, everybody. JB Buno here with you live on WFLA Now. An update to the story that you can now read on WFLA.com and the WFLA app. I'm going to read word for word the update on this story that just came down from St. Pete Police. They say this morning investigators learned that 19-year-old Alexis and 46-year-old Angela Jolly decided to drive to Nebraska last week. Early this morning in Omaha, Angela had a medical episode and was transported to a hospital and died. Alexis was with her mother at the time. She contacted relatives to let them know that her mother is deceased and that she, the 19-year-old, is safe. On this story since the beginning, WFLA's 8 on Your Side's Justin Shecker joining us now from the field. Hey there, Justin. This has been an interesting, bizarre disappearance that we've been tracking over the last week. A week ago was when we last heard from this mother and daughter. A lot of bizarre circumstances surrounding this case. There were search parties out looking for the two here in Pinellas County here in the Tampa Bay area, and now St. Pete Police confirming that the mother and daughter had made the drive to Nebraska, and the mother has died of a medical episode.
So, JB, still a lot of unanswered questions, but this is obviously a major development. We were at the press conference yesterday with the lead detective who said they would keep searching until they got word that this mom and daughter are safe. Unfortunately, we just learned this morning that Angela Jolly, like you mentioned, has died from an apparent medical episode. But still, JB, so many questions this morning about why they took off without their phones. The good news, obviously, that Alexis, the daughter, has contacted family, but you have to imagine there'll be more investigation into the mom's death to find out exactly what happened.
Yeah, there's obviously, this was not the turn that folks were expecting with this case. Obviously, when you look at the circumstances surrounding the disappearance, we have a mother and daughter who, again, as you mentioned, leave their phones behind and pretty much go off grid, don't really tell anybody where they're going. They are tracked into some other states. Their car is found going into some other states. I believe Tennessee was mentioned yesterday during the press conference. Now we get the update this morning that not only have they been located in Nebraska, but the mother has died from a medical episode. We don't know what the medical episode is, but we're learning all of this, as I understand, from the daughter, the 19-year-old daughter, Alexis.
Yeah, that's right. And we heard the detective again say yesterday that they would keep searching until they got that call. So we learned yesterday that last Thursday morning, Angela Jolly, the mom, was supposed to be at the VA at 6:30 in the morning. Her coworkers described her as a stellar employee at the VA, and they caught her on surveillance camera at the ATM at the credit union right across from where they live around 6:50 in the morning. And that it was the last image they could find of her while still in the state of Florida. They tracked the vehicle. About 4.5 hours later, they found that it was in Georgia before heading west through Alabama to Mississippi. And like you mentioned, the car yesterday, according to police, had been last spotted a Friday morning going into Tennessee, south of Memphis. And now we learned today that the mom and daughter had plans to drive to Nebraska. And again, this big question is, what happened? What was this medical episode? But again, as you know, JB, the medical examiner's office will take time to do that autopsy. But again, just still a very puzzling story. And we know there was maybe a little renewed sense of hope yesterday from family and friends that the police had said at that point there had been no signs of foul play. But now this major twist this morning to learn they made it all the way to Omaha, Nebraska, and the mom has sadly passed away after a medical episode.
I'm following some of the Facebook Live comments here. That's why I'm glancing here to my left, everybody, because there's so many comments coming in that people believe that there's more to this story, that a mother and daughter just disappearing out of the blue and then leaving their phones behind, ending up in Nebraska, Tennessee, and then Nebraska, and then the mother dying of a medical episode. Tragic, of course, for the family, a terrible, terrible loss. But this is just, ever since a week ago when this family went missing, there's been this shroud of mystery surrounding this story, Justin, and you, of course, who've been on the ground talking to folks in Pinellas County. Just something didn't add up. with this, and people could not figure out why a mother and daughter would just really disappear out of the blue, leave their phones behind, not really give anybody any information. Then here we have, okay, so in the center of your screen, everybody, this is the photo that Justin was referring to. Give us the backstory here on this photo one more time, Justin, for those of our viewers who just joined us.
So this is the photo that St. Petersburg police shared yesterday at their update with the lead detective. That is the mom who we now know has passed away after this medical episode. Again, this was taken, you can see the timestamp, 6:51, 6:52, last Thursday morning, again, about 22 minutes after she was supposed to be at work. So from this photo, the detective did say being 20 minutes after work. And the other noticeable thing in the photo is that this mom usually wore a wig, and the detective pointed out she did not have her wig on in this photo, and to him that was an indication that she might not have been planning to go to work. Again, we learned today that they say they had decided to drive to Nebraska, according to the daughter. But again, I think the biggest question is leaving the phones behind, JB, because as you know, in this day and age, a 19-year-old girl, to imagine without her cell phone for that long. And one thing I asked the detective yesterday, because I've been trying to learn more about this mom and daughter, the daughter is very active on social media and hadn't really posted anything since last week. So again, still a lot of questions, but this may bring at least some closure to the family to know that the daughter is safe, and sadly her mom has now passed away.
To say that there's been speculation online and people trying to piece together what could have led to the two leaving their phones behind and taking off for the Midwest, there's endless speculation online, including our Facebook Live comment section. We're not going to really get into the speculation, of course, because we don't know.
Let me just say something on that. Look,
sure.
As a journalist here, look, JB, we stick to the facts. We follow the updates from police, not really knowing where this story was going to go. And obviously this is a major twist today. So in talking to Alexis's sister yesterday, her message was, please keep praying for their continued safety and stop with the speculation. So look, obviously we're online. People are going to make comments, want to jump to conclusions. Here at 8 on your side, we're going to stick to the facts here. Obviously be sensitive. Look, a 46-year-old woman has now passed away. There's obviously a lot of questions, but at least here on this feed, JB, we're going to stick to the facts and really hope to discourage some of that speculation, because again, there are more unanswered questions. We'll see what more we learn in the days to come. But have to remember here, a 46-year-old woman has now passed away. And again, not knowing the circumstances, but let's not try to speculate too much, but let's stick to the facts here. And hopefully we will learn more in the next couple of days.
And the family, of course, grieving in Pinellas County this morning upon learning this news. But I'm going to read this one more time, Justin, because this is the exact release from St. Pete Police. So this gives us a little bit of some insight as to what transpired. I'm going to read here from the middle section of the release. It says, early this morning in Omaha, Nebraska, Angela had a medical episode and was transported to a hospital and died. Alexis was with her mother at the time. She contacted relatives to let them know that her mother is deceased and that she is safe. Now, there's a good amount to unpack there. First off, that we knowing that they were in Omaha, right? That they were in Omaha, Nebraska, that there was a medical episode, and we don't know the nature of that medical episode or what led to Angela having to be transported to the hospital where she was pronounced dead. But we know that the two were together. They say Alexis was with her mother at the time. And here's the interesting note here. She contacted relatives to let them know that her mother is deceased and that she is safe. Now, again, this is a teenager who left her phone behind, and whether or not she was able to use the phone at the hospital and contact her relatives, or whether or not she was able to contact authorities, we don't know exactly what transpired there. But again, leaving the phones behind, but then picking up the phone, contacting relatives in Pinellas County to let them know what in fact had happened in Nebraska. I can't even imagine what that phone call must have been like.
No, you can only imagine how she, got a hold of the phone, how she made that call. These are obviously all great questions that we really don't know at this point. And just a little more context here. This is a 19-year-old girl who had come home in the spring from college because of the pandemic. She'd been at her first year of college, had come home. Family said she'd been working a part-time job here. And again, they were supposed to be on a flight yesterday, JB, as we talked about on the air, that they had tickets to go to Maine to see a relative up there. But yet we're hearing from police this morning, instead of getting on that flight yesterday, they decided to take off for Omaha. Now, another part of this mystery, JB, is the last place they were spotted was Friday morning going into Tennessee. So the question is between from Tennessee to Omaha, how long had they actually been in Nebraska? Did they make any other stops on the way? We know that St. Petersburg police, had enlisted the help of other agencies in these other states to try to track the car, to try to find them. So it's interesting. This development comes this morning after yesterday's real big update where, police said for the first time there had been no signs of foul play. It was an indication they had left on their own. And now, about less than 24 hours later, we get this additional update. So I wonder if there might have been more news coverage where they were yesterday. Might have gotten word somehow on a TV somehow that there was this, desperate, concern from family and friends about where they might have gone. So again, I find it's interesting we get this update this morning, literally 24 hours after we started to piece this puzzle together that they were last seen in Tennessee.
And as I continue to read some of the reaction to this story, which of course has been, we're of course streaming to thousands of folks here on WFLA's app, WFLA.com, and of course here on Facebook Live, where I'm reading some of the comments that are just coming in. Let's make this clear, because some people have pointed this out, Justin, that these are two adults. This is a mother and daughter getting in the car and taking a road trip. There's nothing illegal about that. There's nothing. I've gone on road trips with my family, but maybe you can clue us in a little bit to why there was just such this sense of mystery surrounding this, because again, they left their phones behind, and to not tell anybody that they were leaving, that's the reason why this has become such a point of fascination here with Pinellas County and with the families.
I think one, the phones; two, that they had the planned flight yesterday to fly to Maine, which they obviously never got on; and third, police said yesterday that this woman was a well respected by her coworkers at the VA. That question of, had they planned on a road trip, why didn't she call out to work? It was her supervisor at the Bay Pines VA that became concerned when Angela never showed up to work on Thursday, and she's the one who reported her missing, which prompted this investigation. So again, those three pieces: the leaving the phones behind, the fact they had these plane tickets to go to Maine to fly yesterday from Tampa, and third, the question of why she wouldn't have called out to work on Thursday if they had this planned. And then the fourth piece of this is that question about her not having the wig on in that photo we saw at the car there, because the photo we've been sharing since St. Petersburg police posted this Friday shows mom and daughter, at the graduation, the high school graduation 2 years ago, last year, 2019, at a Christian private school in Pinellas County. So you see that the happy photo of the two of them, and then for police to point out in that ATM photo that she left her wig behind is obviously another part of this mystery. But again, I go back to the phones, not getting on the plane, and the fact she did not call out to work and her supervisor grew concerned. Those three details, I think, is why there's been so much intrigue about this really mysterious disappearance. And obviously now we've learned, sadly, that the mom has passed away.
Justin Shecker joining us, everybody, on the road. He's been covering the story really the last week, and I've been paying very close attention, Justin, to the comments here on social media. And one more time, we're not going to report speculation, theories out there, but there is speculation and theories abound here on our Facebook live stream, in addition to elsewhere on the internet, on social media. People are just trying to piece together what leads to this set of bizarre circumstances: the disappearance of a mother and daughter, again, leaving their phones behind, and with the plane trip that was scheduled for Maine, and then for them to pop up in Tennessee, so on and so forth. There's a lot of speculation out there. And I've noticed, listen, I just want to make it very, very clear. I've been reading the comments, and there are some very plausible ideas out there as to what might have happened, but they're purely speculation. I want to let everybody know, especially here on Facebook Live, that everything that you're reading here in the comment section is just speculation, that all we have from police is basically what was announced yesterday in the press conference and the short blurb that I just read out for you a few moments ago, and I'll read it again here in a moment for those of you just joining us. But I'm seeing, one of the things that I'm seeing here, Justin, on social media in response to this, just generally, just taking a step back for a second, is that there are two competing thoughts here. There are a lot of people here on Facebook Live that are saying there's something more to this, that there's some thing that we just don't know. This is way bigger. That's the exact words of a particular commenter. This is way bigger than I think that we really understand right now, for a mother and daughter to just leave their phones behind, get in a car, and just start traveling across the country without telling their place of employment, without telling their family, without basically letting anybody know that they were going to be just disappearing off the grid, so to speak. And then there's the flip side of that. As I read through the comment section here, there are other people that are saying, I'm reading it word for word right now, this isn't our business. This is a mother, this is a daughter who got in their car, and they're fully within their rights if they want to just get in their car and go on a road trip and just disappear. Listen, it's a 46 and 19-year-old mother and daughter duo, and if that was what they wanted to do, that's what they wanted to do. If they didn't tell their family, and then they had their own personal reasons, and that was, their prerogative to just basically say, hey, we want to, hit the road, get in the car, and not tell anybody about it, and just, check out the country, so to speak, or go on this trip. So you have these two competing arguments. Some people believing that there's just way more to this, and something just doesn't add up, and something isn't right. And then you have the others who are saying that this is just two adults, a mother and a daughter, two family members together going on a road trip and just trying to disappear for a week or so. And those are the two, if you take a step back, those are the two general things I think that I'm seeing here on Facebook Live. But the family has talked about how there's been endless speculation on social media.
Yeah, and talking to Alexis's sister, she's the one who really wanted to, kind of end the speculation. But to that point, JB, the detective, made that point yesterday. These are two adult women, and that they had every right to do so. Again, it's the family, the friends, the coworkers who described this as highly unusual. We did hear from the sister that. So let me clarify. The sister is a shared father with Alexis, so she did not lose her mom this morning. But this is Alexis's half sister I've been speaking with, and again, just saying how unusual it was for them just to go off the grid. And I point back to the daughter being so active on social media, sharing a lot of, photos and pictures and stuff from other type trips. The other detail is that their two dogs had gone missing too. The update this morning did not tell us if the dogs are safe with them in Nebraska.
Yeah, a lot of folks on social media, Justin, asking about the dogs.
So no update this morning. Police did say there was home surveillance video last Thursday morning showing the two ladies with the dogs get in the car. So from what we know last week is that the dogs were with them when they left. When I get off this stream, maybe I'll send an email to St. Pete PD, ask if there's any update on the dogs. Obviously, a lot of our viewers will be concerned about that element. But again, it was the mom, the daughter, the two dogs all packed into that car, that Toyota Camry that left last Thursday after 6:50-ish when she's seen at the ATM, literally right across the street from where they lived.
8 on your sides, Justin Shecker joining us, everybody. I'm JB Buno here with you in the WFLA Now Stream Center, and yeah, a lot of commenters asking specifically about the dogs. One thing I'm going to bring up, people are asking, where's Alexis? Where is the 19-year-old daughter? As we understand it, she is in Omaha, Nebraska, where her mother passed away. Again, this morning, the medical episode is said to have occurred this morning, according to police, according to Alexis in Nebraska. Alexis then contacted relatives. That's what the release says. Contacted relatives to let them know that her mother is deceased and that she is safe. And again, we point back to the fact that they didn't have phones, and I know teenagers, and not to get too nitty gritty here, but I know teenagers who can't remember a single phone number, and because we just have it in our phones these days, right? And they just have it pre-programmed into their phones. So we were talking earlier about how she was able to contact relatives to know that her mother is deceased. But regardless of that, Alexis, 19 years of age, was said to be with her mother when the medical episode occurred in Omaha, Nebraska, and contacted relatives to let them know that her mother is deceased and that she is safe. Alexis's current whereabouts exactly are not known at this time, but the last that we have heard is that she is in Omaha, Nebraska, after her mom was taken to the hospital and died there from the reported medical episode. Everybody, there's a lot of speculation, a lot of comments that we can't read, but what we're going to do now for the next 10 minutes or so, while we have Justin here, everybody, if Justin can stick around for another 10 minutes or so, we're gonna take some questions using the hashtags that you see on your screen. I can only read certain questions or certain comments. So if you use the hashtag HeyJB, hashtag HeyJustin, that gives us basically the signal that you would like for us to read your comment or your question aloud. But I can't read anything that is speculative. I can't read anything that isn't, of course, that isn't fact-based. So I'll start to read some of the hashtag HeyJB, hashtag HeyJustin comments here as they start to, file in here. But as a reminder, I can only read certain comments. And if you have a question about this case, I'll, of course, try to bring it up and let you know whether or not there is, in fact, an answer based on what we know as of this Wednesday morning. So, Justin, is that okay? We'll keep you on here for another 10 minutes or so?
Yeah, I can hang on a little longer. So I had a call coming and declined that, but let's keep going, JB.
Yeah, okay, so WFLA top Facebook fan Sandra Shutt, hashtag HeyJB. I do understand they were grown up, but with all of what's going on nowadays and the public was put in, have you seen them? How does it put the Sandra, I can't really make out the rest of your comment here, but Sandra expressing some concern here that even though that they were grown up, that something again just didn't. Something was offsetting to Sandra here in the Facebook Live comment section. Deborah Stasiak, hashtag HeyJB, this entire saga is extremely sketchy to me, is the word that one of our Facebook commenters, Deborah, is using with the hashtag HeyJB. Jim Sharp, hashtag HeyJB, do we know the cause of death? If not, they must find out, and soon. Jim.
JB, like I've said to that question, is medical examiners, I imagine it'll be the one locally there in Nebraska. I can try to get that confirmed, but they will obviously conduct a full autopsy to determine the cause and manner, exactly what happened to this woman. So I'll try to get that answered today for our viewers, whether that'll be done in Nebraska. I imagine so, because that is where the medical episode happened. She was pronounced deceased. So as you know, these things take some time for them to get back all the results of their testing till we know that full answer of the cause and manner of death. That's obviously a great question. Still more to be learned there.
Yeah, and again, we're just going to look for questions here in the Facebook Live comment section. You see the yellow stripe underneath my name and the one on the right side of the screen underneath Justin's name, hashtag HeyJB, hashtag HeyJustin. That's how we basically get consent from you to read your comment and your name aloud, everybody, from the Facebook Live comment section. A lot of them coming in. Roberto Borrero, hashtag HeyJB, did the daughter take the mom to the hospital? And I'm going to read it here from the release. Early this morning in Omaha, Angela had a medical episode and was transported to a hospital and died. So based on that, the commenter's name, Roberto. So based on that, Roberto, we're told that Angela was transported to the hospital. We don't know if it was, via personal vehicle or whether or not it was via ambulance. They don't really specify in the release. Maybe you can answer this one here from Melissa Kendall in the Facebook Live comment section, hashtag HeyJB. Is Alexis the only child of this mother? And you were talking a little bit about the sister a short time ago, Justin.
So again, I've really been speaking with the sister that is connected through the shared father. So to my knowledge, there was no other immediate siblings, but I will double check on that today. But the family I've been hearing from was related through her father. But again, unsure if there's other children who are grieving the loss of a mother today, but I can look into that question today.
Laura Daniels asking two questions here on Facebook Live, and I think I can answer one, and maybe Justin, you can answer the other. But Laura Daniels, hashtag HeyJB, what time did the daughter contact the family? And to Laura's question there, we don't know the exact time frame. It was sometime this morning. So again, we got this release around 10 a.m. So and really Nebraska, I believe, is either Central or Mountain Time, and I don't know exactly which time zone Nebraska is in off the top of my head, but we're talking about early in the morning now. So there must have been a early morning medical episode that led to Angela being transported to the hospital where she was pronounced dead. And then Laura Daniels, her second question here, maybe you can answer this one or let us know, Justin, if there's an answer to this. Laura Daniels, hashtag HeyJB, did the family say they know anyone in Nebraska?
When I had checked yesterday, we knew they were in Tennessee. I was told no relatives in Tennessee, but that's another question to be asked today. Again, part of this mystery, why they went there, was we know they had plane tickets to go to Maine to see a relative up there. I believe it was a cousin up in Maine. So again, that's something else we can look into today, whether they had any known family in Nebraska. Another great question from one of our viewers.
Jess Love, hashtag HeyJB, how long ago were the plane tickets purchased. Maybe they decided against flying due to COVID and left their phones behind by accident. Justin?
Don't know when they were purchased. Again, the flight was scheduled for yesterday morning. As part of the investigation, the detectives checked to see if by some chance the two women got on that flight. So unsure when they purchased the tickets, but they were, again, supposed to take off yesterday morning. Instead, they left by car from the St. Pete area last Thursday, made it through the southeast into Alabama, Mississippi, then Tennessee, where they were last seen on Friday. So, again, unsure when they would have exactly purchased these tickets. Another good question.
Suzanne Wells, hashtag Justin or hashtag Hey Justin, didn't hear if there were any conflicts between family or friends.
Nothing apparent. We know that the two women, according to police, were living with the now deceased mother's stepfather, that he was the last one to report having seen them in the home around 11:30 on Wednesday night. So that is the relative we know who lived with them. In terms of conflicts, really, that's, again, part of this mystery. You had a daughter who was out at school in Arizona for her first year of college. She came home because of the pandemic, was working a part-time job at a grocery store, and from all accounts, that she was very close with her mom. So again, it's this lingering question. Again, we're not going to speculate here on 8 on Your Side. Hopefully, police will provide some more clarity. You have to imagine that they're going to try to speak more with the daughter. But yeah, no real apparent conflicts that police had told us about to this point.
Sharon Latimer letting us know, hashtag AJB, joining us from Omaha, Nebraska, saying that it's 9:55 there. So it is Central Time Zone in Nebraska. So thank you for our Facebook Live commenter for clarifying on that. Irene Hudson Worley in the comment section here, wondering something that I was wondering about earlier, hashtag AJB. How were the relatives contacted when cell phones were left behind? Now, Justin, if we're reading into this correctly, I think you and I are on the same page here. I would just imagine that you just borrow a phone at the hospital, right? I mean, but again, the people keep coming back to the fact that a 46-year-old mom, 19-year-old daughter leaving their phones behind is just such a the year is 2020, and it is so strange for anyone to go anywhere without their phone. Like, usually I have my phone in my right pocket, and if I don't feel it there, it's almost like this trigger goes off my brain. Oh, I don't have my phone. Where did I leave it? I left it over here on this table, or I left it over here in the kitchen. And I can't really go room to room without having my phone on me. This mother and daughter went state to state to state to state without a phone or without their phones, which you noted earlier, the 19-year-old being particularly active on social media.
Yeah, like I was saying, she was active, several social media accounts that I looked into to try to find out more about them. So again, when I asked the detective yesterday, there had been no posts, obviously, without their phones since they left. So we can try to find out more today. Again, JB, we literally got this update 10 o'clock. We were on our morning editorial call. We got this update. Wanted to jump in and share this sad update. Again, like I said, there's going to be a lot of speculation here. As you know, and I know, look, stories don't always go the way you think they might go. But again, there are at least a little more answers today to know the daughter is safe. But we can't lose sight of the fact that, sadly, this 46-year-old woman has passed away, and there will be more of an investigation into her death to get more answers. So again, we're all looking for answers in this, but obviously there's still so much more to learn at this point. But I guess the silver lining here is that daughter, whatever motivated her to, well, it's still strange. I admit, JB, I'm still puzzled just thinking about this. I have my theories. I'm not going to put them out there. Let's just see where the investigation goes. But again, just another strange twist. But the good news, the daughter, is okay. And now an autopsy, that investigation will tell us more about how this mom passed away.
Tracy Ann in the comment section, hashtag HeyJB. I was thinking of the same thing. They easily could have bought burner phones. It's very, very easy these days to walk into a Walmart, into a Target, into a gas station, and buy a phone. Yes, people commonly refer to as a burner phone. But then again, if you're leaving your phones behind and you're buying a burner phone, that just and again, that is not what we're saying happened. Do not get mixed up or mince my words here, everybody. But that could have been a possibility, of course, but then that's even more suspicious. So we're not going to look too much into that, Tracy. But yes, I was wondering the same thing. Could they have left their phones behind and then pick up a phone at a cheap gas station or a cheap phone at a convenience store in another state, and then had those phones to be able to reach out to people or get on the internet, so on and so forth? It's possible, but we really don't know. Gail Doyle, hashtag HeyJB, is the daughter going back to Florida? Yeah, we really don't know, Justin, at this point. When Alexis is going to be returning to Florida, but her family obviously extremely concerned and grieving now. This is a family mourning.
Yeah. So again, still a lot of great questions. I'll try to, after I get off this Facebook Live with you, I'll try to call St. Pete PD and ask some of these questions to see if we get some more answers, and we'll obviously have more coverage later today at 4 and 5 if there's any more details that we do learn at this point. But these are all really good questions. But again, we're going off the limited update we got this morning. Yesterday really was the big update in this case with that lengthy press conference from the detective, sort of showing us how they've tracked the vehicle. And again, the vehicle had been unaccounted for since Friday morning around 7:30 going into Tennessee. So again, we don't know how long when they actually made it to Nebraska, how long they've been in Omaha. So still a lot of questions, but we'll stay on and see what else we can learn, JB. But it's obviously it's a very sad situation here to learn about the passing of the mother, and we'll see what other answers we get today from police.
Deanna Icanetti, hopefully, Deanna, I'm pronouncing your last name correctly there. Hashtag HeyJB. When someone doesn't want to be found, maybe they want private time. With the pandemic, many people are doing things they normally would not do. And then Nicole Sweeney, hashtag HeyJB. Were they missing because they were lost? I'm confused on the missing part. Then they were just found when she had the health issue. Nicole, I'm just going to echo that there's still so much, and I think what Justin and I are discussing here and have been discussing here for the better part of the last 40 or so minutes is that there is still so much unknown in this case. So everybody, look for Justin's reporting coming up here on WFLA News Channel 8. Your next newscast, we're currently in the 11 a.m. newscast, but the next newscast update is going to be at 4 o'clock p.m. tonight, 5 o'clock p.m., 6 o'clock p.m. Our evening newscast on WFLA News Channel 8. There might also be a press conference. We don't know. Or an additional release coming out. Make sure you stay honed in at WFLA.com and WFLA's app if you're really honed in on this story and you really want updates throughout the day. Because this is, Justin, I think you and I can both agree that we're just at the beginning of this now. We're going to be getting more information over the next 48 hours as to what transpired, how this came to be, when Alexis is coming back to the state of Florida, so on and so forth. And again, our hearts here with the families who, of course, now are grieving there in Pinellas County. Any final thoughts here, Justin, as we wrap up on WFLA now?
Again, just can't lose sight of the fact that someone's life has been lost in this situation. There are still a lot of questions, but again, please, let's try to tamper down the speculation at this point until we get more concrete answers. The good news being that the daughter is safe. The sad news here, the mother has passed away. And again, as I said before, there will be some full autopsy done, but it could take some time to get a complete picture of what exactly happened regarding this medical episode. But again, just it's been, like I said, you never really know where a story is going to take you. And yesterday was really, the first indication that these two women had really left on their own. There had been no signs of any foul play. But again, so much mystery surrounding this. A mom and a daughter, like you said, they had full right to get in the car and go for a road trip as two adults. And again, we're just learning about this very sad and tragic update this morning that the mom, 46 years old, Angela Jolly, has passed away.
One more time, for those of you who have just joined us in the last couple of minutes, I'm just going to read the release as we wrap up our stream here on WFLA Now. It read as follows. It came in around 10 a.m. this morning Eastern Time. This morning, investigators learned that 19-year-old Alexis and 46-year-old Angela Jolly decided to drive to Nebraska next week. Early this morning in Omaha, Angela had a medical episode, was transported to a hospital, and died. Alexis was with her mother at the time. She contacted relatives to let them know that her mother is deceased and that she is safe. You can read that in its entirety on WFLA.com, the WFLA app, and be sure to look out for Justin Checker's reporting coming up in our evening newscast on WFLA News Channel 8. 8 is on your side. For Justin Checker, I'm JB Buno. Thanks for being with us. Again, more on our website and our app, and more updates throughout the day as they become available on WFLA.com and WFLA's app and newscast. Thanks so much for being with us. We'll be back.